We're going to go over how to use ClarityNOW for running your team meeting. This video is going to go over the goal gap report, the team pipeline reports, and lead gen and conversions. Quick, short, high impact video that will help you run a more efficient and impactful team meeting. Let's go over the goal gap in ClarityNOW. This is an amazing report and a unique feature to ClarityNOW. Now, what this is going to go over is going to tell you how many days you have left to do certain activities within your business. And those two activities are that the days left for taking listings that can close in a particular quarter, and how many days you have left to put things under contract that can close in a particular quarter. Now, on this account here, I'm showing you is that we have 36 days left to take listings in quarter two, and we have 65 days left to sell for quarter two. Now, why are there two different dates? How does that make sense? I'm going to show you how. When you set up your account, we had what's called business information that everybody filled out. And again, it's what is your average contract to close? What is your ramp up period, which is listing agreement signed to day one on the market? How long does that take you in your business? And what is your average days on market? What the goal gap is doing, guys, is it's taking the 45-day contract to close, backing out from the particular quarter, and that tells you how many days you have left to close or to sell for each quarter. On the listing side, we also need to make it go live and sit in the market before it sells. So in this model, it's going to be about 30 days before the other number. So when I click on my goal gap report, going back here, it shows me that my calendar year for taking listings is really October 17th, 2023 to October 16th, 2024 that have the ability to close January through December. So I trust that you hung on there with me. Let's go through how to read this report. It's really quite simple. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to manage your business, manage your team, and make sure that you hit your goals. So again, to recap, I have 36 days left to take listings in quarter two and 65 days left to sell for quarter two. In the economic model, it said, and based on my seasonality, my goal is to get 13 listings signed in quarter two and to have 28 closings for $7.6 million in volume in quarter two. Now, you can see the top half of these reports are the goals. The bottom half of these reports are the actuals. This is the data actually in the system. So I can see so far in quarter two, I have signed 3 listings. We have 11 pending and closed for quarter two for $3.46 million in volume. So if I go down, I can see my gap to hit the quarter goals. My goal again is 13 listings signed. I have signed 3, so my gap is 10. My goal is 28 closings. I'm at 11, so my gap is 17. My goal is 7.6 million. I'm at 3.46. My gap is 4.2. Now, what the system's going to do here is going to take your gap, the 10, the 17, and the 4.2 million, and it's going to divide it by how many days you have left to take listings and how many days you have left to sell. And on the very bottom left, it tells you what do you have to do every single day to stay on track. So again, my goal is I have a gap of 17 sales. I have 65 days to do it. That means my business needs to sell 0.26 houses per day, which obviously is a funny number and it's a decimal. What you really want to look at is this bottom right corner, the weekly gap needed to stay on track. So when you pull up your goal gap report, look at the gap to hit quarter goals and then go right to this weekly gap need to stay on track. And this tells you what you and your business needs to do over the next 7 days to stay on track. So I know if I'm running a team meeting or if I'm doing a one-on-one or if I'm simply leading myself, I know that to hit my goal this week, I need to sign 2 listings, sell 2 homes for $455,000 in volume. Very simple. One quick tip, always round up the decimal. So if I have 2.17 sales needed, I'm just going to call that 3. So whatever the decimal is, round it up to the closest whole number or the next whole number, and that will tell you exactly what you need to do in the next 7 days to stay on track. So let's dive into the pipeline report. Now, this is a summary of every agent's pipeline within ClarityNOW. So on this example, I'm looking at a team, I'm a rainmaker, and here are the agents on my team. Everybody has their own sales pipeline within their ClarityNOW, and this is simply summarizing everyone's data. Note that this viewpoint is only for a rainmaker. So the agents on your team who have their own individual accounts, they won't have this report. They'll just have their own sales pipeline report for their own business. So again, this is just for the rainmaker. What's great about this is if I'm running my team meeting and I can see that we have a pretty large gap of sales that we need to have sold in the next 7 days or the next month to hit our goal, I want to know how many 9s and 10s my company has. I can see here that we have 6 10s, we have 7 9s, and also have a visual here too. So potential volume, we have $7.5 million in potential volume, but I don't really care about how much volume we have in 6s and 5s. Maybe I want to know what's our volume for just 10s. We have almost $1.9 million of volume in the pipeline that we're expected to convert this month. And I can see that Liam's got 950, Patricia, Fiona, etc. I also can click on this data viewpoint and get a different viewpoint that's more data and less of a chart. And this is true for all of these reports. You can summarize this by 10s, 9s, all ratings, whatever you choose to do. Let's say that I'm looking at these 10s and I realize that, oh man, Fiona has 110. I'm curious what that is. I can click on that 110 and it's going to take me to Fiona's pipeline and right to her 110. Here it is. It's a nurture. It's Amberly and Dan and Walworth. And I can see exactly what the plan is for this person. So as you can see, this report is really, really powerful for getting clarity with your team meetings on how many 10s, how many 9s do we have, how are we going to close this gap. You're either going to see that we have a lot in the pipeline and we should be good, or guys, we got to get our butts on the phone. It's time to lead generate. We need more in the pipeline. It's a great report company-wide to be able to see that. Let's dive into the lead gen and conversions report. I love this report. ClarityNOW is built because I love data, and I trust that if you're looking at this report, you do too. It's broken down by the listing side, the buy side, conversions, which is your lead gen, your dials to contacts, and your custom tracking sources. Custom tracking sources is from your daily tracking. We go over this in a separate video on daily tracking and how to enter data into the system. And that's right here. New category. You can type in whatever you want. Whatever you type in is going to show up in lead gen and conversions in this custom tracking source. So if I'm looking at listings, I can look at everything for the current year, last 3 months, a specific date range, whatever you choose, whatever vantage point and viewpoint you want to see. Let's read through this. So I can see I have my contacts to listing appointment set, listing appointment set to held, listings held to taken, and taken appended. So it's really simple. I can see, for example, that Fiona's had 30 contacts and set 2 listing appointments. Again, contact or a ratio percentage. So I can see right here for every 15 contacts, she sets an appointment. Or again, conversion ratio is 6.7% of her contacts turn into an appointment. Listing appointments set to held. She's set to and she's held to. So 100% of her appointments that she sets are actually held. That's great to know. We may see a lot of coaching opportunities in this column for some agents. Their set to held ratio may be off. Listing appointments held to taken. She's been on 2, she's taken 3. Maybe one seller had 2, or maybe one listing carried over from a previous year, but so far her conversion ratio is awesome. Listing appointments taken depended. She's taken 3, she sold 3, 100% of her stuff is selling. Now, again, this is a demo account, so numbers may be funny in here. And the more that you enter your daily tracking and you're consistent with that, this report's going to have a lot of value. It's really easy to tell when looking at a report like this where your clients or where your agents need help. They either need help in setting appointments, contacts to set to held, held to taken, or taken depended. Those are really the 4 quadrants where the most coaching can come into play. And I can see all this on the listing side or the buy side. Same thing. Contacts to set to held, held to sign, taken depended. My dials to contacts. And then the custom tracking sources are going to all pull again from the custom categories that you enter in your daily tracking. So if I want to look at maybe, since November 1st through today, it looks like Liam has had 52 door knocks. And let's see here. Looks like Fiona's had 2 pre-approvals or whatever the case is. Liam had 10 social media likes. Whatever your custom categories are all right here. So the beautiful thing about the custom tracking sources and the lead gen and conversions report is no matter what you want to track, you can track it right here. One thing to note too is a lot of people will use the custom tracking categories for their operations team. for number of times we asked for a referral or reviews received, something along those lines. So it's a great way to also give a tracking metric to someone who may not necessarily have a sales driven role.